I'm a game developer and I have barely released anything. And I'm tired of it. I have only released 2 mobile games, and their quality is shoddy. I've worked on some prototypes. There's a Metroidvania, an arena shooter, and I'm currently working on an online multiplayer first-person sword fighting game, which honestly at its current pace is going to come out in like 2028 or something. Everything I work on seems to take me a really, really long time. And yes, it's because I want to push myself, but it really is because I just do not have a handle on scope creep. I fall into this loop of discovering a new idea, building out a prototype, being in like the honeymoon phase with it, getting to some sticking point, and then I just start questioning my existence while either debugging or working out the design. And I have 3 options at that point. Keep trucking on, fix the problem, restart the project to fix the problem, or move on to a new project entirely. In other words, I have shiny object syndrome. I just can't seem to help myself. I often jump ship to new and shiny ideas because, work is hard. Game development is hard. Honestly, I don't think I have the skills to make what I want to make in a reasonable amount of time. If I want to make Castle Wars a reality, which I do, I could rough it out and just churn over this one game for 3 years and it might fail. It might succeed, but it has a very good chance of failing. I could join a team, which I have actually joined a team. It's not for Castle Wars, it's for a different project, and we'll talk about it at some point, but it's not for Castle Wars. Or secret third option, I can study up. I can get better at being a game developer. I can work on my skills. I already have a computer science degree. I'm an okay programmer. That is, I think, what that means. I'm working on my art skills over time. I have a whole series on this channel dedicated to little art hacks and new things that I've tried out, and that's going to continue. What I need to learn is the development cycle and how to design games. Now, the only way that I see that I can learn the development cycle is to just go through it a bunch of times. So I need to do that. And to learn design's hard. Design is iterative. You could, maybe, nail the design of your game the first time around. First iteration. You probably won't, though. You're probably just going to have to get your game to a playable state as fast as you can so that people can play it, you can get feedback, and you can iterate. I also need to learn how to design games that I could feasibly make. I think I went 0 to 100 a little too quickly. You see, I mostly play massive games. I play stuff like Halo and BioShock and Destiny and Baldur's Gate, Counter-Strike, Half-Life, Portal. Some of these games seem smaller, but they're still games that took a team that is larger than me, took a team multiple years to create. And because of that, because I really only play larger games, I only really come up with ideas for larger games. I have tried to come up with smaller ideas, but scope creep runs me. Like, I spent the last 2 weeks fleshing out an idea for an FPS that I want to work on at some point, and I even spent time building multiple prototypes of a Portal mechanic, but that game is going to be just as large as Castle Wars, so it's not really something I can use as a stepping stone to get there. I need to learn how to make smaller games. I could go from making a single player mobile game to making an online multiplayer sword combat game. I could. But there's a few logical steps you should probably take in between point A and point B, and I skipped those. I tried to go 0 to 100, and I failed massively, multiple times. Castle Wars has had 5 iterations so far, 5 complete rewrites. The first was a single player demo. Then I realized that it needed split screen, so I redesigned the whole thing. Then I was like, we should maybe work on the network multiplayer part of this. So I built a Steam lobby using the Steam lobby API, but no actual networking. So when it came time to actually start doing the networking, I realized that the game that I had built fundamentally was not able to just be made multiplayer. So I restarted, I learned Fishnet, I made a prototype as quick as I could. Because I was learning Fishnet as I was building this prototype, it became really, really buggy really, really quickly. The latest iteration is the Godot iteration of Castle Wars. It has split screen and networked multiplayer, and it works honestly the best out of the current iterations, but it's still just a prototype, and I've been working on this game for 3 years. Between each iteration, I either restarted or rewrote huge portions of the project. It's a naive assumption to assume that you can add multiplayer later. I believed that for about 1.5 years. Don't do that. Now, I would also like to point out, I wasn't stupid. I wasn't stupid. I kept restarting and I kept making these mistakes, these really, really large mistakes, because no one taught me how to avoid them. I am a self-taught game developer. Everything that I have learned has effectively come out of making one of these gigantic mistakes. And you do it again, but you learn from the mistake. That's how you learn stuff. So I guess, oops, there goes 3 years. My bad. You live and you learn. I am also extremely ambitious. I thought I would finish the fishnet prototype of Castle Wars by the end of January this year. That didn't happen. I spent a lot of time learning concepts and things that would need to be in the game. There was no natural progression to it. I wanted to learn how to do the cool things at the cost of not really learning the fundamentals. I'm in this weird spot as a developer where I could tell you how to make a networked character controller, but I can't tell you how to make Tetris. So here's the plan. I think I can make Castle Wars quicker if I'm a better game developer. I sort of fell into the trap of trying to just gung-ho make your dream game, and I'm kind of paying the price for it. So I'm going to spend a significant amount of time making some smaller games. This way I can build up a library of what I know how to do and a library of systems that can be used in multiple games. Things like split screen, a simple networked multiplayer, controller support, a lobby system, a save and load system, a setting system, achievements, stuff like that. Things that you want in all of the games, but you sort of have to develop the entire game to sort of reach all of these systems. These are things that ideally I could just make like a package for and then just bring that in and tailor it for each game. And I also want to figure out things like how to work as a team, how to market a game, how to make a trailer, how to write documentation. Some of those like soft skills. I know marketing isn't a soft skill, but like I want to round myself out as a developer. As I've already said, I'm going to make some smaller games. Ideally games that only take like 1 or 2 months. So I'm going to pick ideas that I could make in a week. That probably means it's going to take like a month or 2. And this way I can refine my systems and my processes, and I can learn the other half of the development cycle. I'm very, very good at the first half, the starting, the honeymoon phase, and the point where it starts to get hard. I want to learn how to like make content for a game, how to iterate and make and like play test, all of that stuff, how to design, and then I can come back to Castle Wars. Unfortunately, for everyone who has been patiently waiting for Castle Wars to come out, I'm officially putting it on a pause. I'm not 100% sure how long this pause is going to be, but in the meantime, every step I take is one step closer to getting back to it. And as a result, I think it'll end up a better game. And I also think I'm going to be able to make it a lot quicker. Like I could make one game in 3 years, or I could spend one of those years making 5 games that teach me how to make that one game in 2 years. And now you have 6 games in 3 years. Numbers are better. Numbers are a lot better. This is also going to build out my resume and my portfolio, which are things that I need if I want to get a job in industry. And unless this YouTube thing really, really starts taking off, I do want game dev to be my full-time job. So I would like to get a job in industry. On top of that, I think working on smaller projects is really going to help me with burnout. I struggle a lot with motivational issues. I have for the longest time. Even responding to messages, sometimes it's just like really, really hard. I don't know if this is relatable to people because I feel like a lot of people have that under control. Things like continuing to just be stuck and sludge through rough points in really large projects just weigh on my soul. The wheel doesn't spin for as much as you feel like you're turning it, right? And it makes it hard to continue. It makes it really hard to stay motivated. This year has been a lot better in terms of motivational issues. I feel like my efforts actually like bore fruit this year, and because of that, it's been easier to keep going. Smaller projects, though, hopefully will better align my efforts with my output, and in turn, that'll help keep me motivated, ideally. In other news, it's the end of the year. Ding, ding, ding. I've been doing a lot of reflecting, and I have some thoughts on this channel. When the year started, I had about 90 subscribers. I don't remember the exact number for the day that this video came out, so just trust me on that. We have a few more now, which is pretty cool. In February, I made a conscious decision to start taking this a bit more seriously, and it seems to be paying off, which I'm very, very happy about. Obviously, still a small channel, still very, very tiny, a lot larger than it was a year ago. So I'd say that's progress. I do want to keep this channel going. I need to make sure that I have some direction. I just made a video about why you need to play games in order to make games, which is a bit philosophical and abstract and maybe motivational, which is fine, but I don't really want to do too much of that. Like, motivation is good, but I would argue that I am still a fool, and that the wisdom of a fool is not going to set you free. I'm 99% sure there's a song lyric of that. I don't know. I want to make less philosophical videos, less like wishy-washy, I'm not sure what it's supposed to be videos, and just make some cool shit. I want you to click on the video and be like, this is a video on a black hole. That's pretty sick. Okay. Obviously, if I am going to be making some smaller games, there's going to be some cool things in those that I'm going to make devlogs to show off. You'll get to see all of that. I want to find a balance between being a game developer and being a content creator. I don't really like the word content, but that is what it is. I'm making slop for you guys, even though I don't really think it's slop. I want to level up the video quality, whether that be things like lighting or set design. I'm kind of limited on that. Or like editing, my voiceover performance. People often say that I lack energy, and I get that. I do. I think today has been a bit better, but in general, I don't know. Picking better video ideas and concepts, and even stuff like video packaging. I need to get better at making thumbnails. I've had one strategy for like the last 6 months. So I guess just don't be surprised if I try out some new things. I want to figure out how to increase the quality of videos and maybe bring down the amount of effort it takes for me to make them, because even this arguably simple video is still going to take me probably 6 hours, 8 hours to make. Yeah. I put maybe a little too much time into these for the quality that they are, but I want to get better at that. I guess one last note about content. If you watch my shorts, you probably saw that at the beginning of this month, November 2024, I decided that I was going to make a shader every single day for the whole month and post a short every single day for the whole month. And I made it, I think, 5 days. That didn't last very long for a couple of reasons. The big one, the kicker, was that like the goal of this was to get better at shader programming. And after day 5, I realized that I was not getting better at shader programming. I was using techniques that I already knew to make really quick and easy effects to just get videos out. And so there wasn't really enough breathing room for me to actually learn. So I just stopped making the videos. As far as shorts go, I might post them every once in a while. I think I like shorts sitting with the purpose of getting eyes on more long form content. This is technically the first update video that I've done on this channel, so hopefully I can say a bunch of goals and actually stick to them. That's the hard part. In the meantime, go watch this video on black holes. I think it's fucking sick, and not enough people watched it, so go check it out. Peace.